All right, we're going on social media. You guys will get in.
Very high tech. Turns out they were all over the village. All
Alright, guys. Dude, you want to take it? You're on the end.
What do I even do?
That one.
Oh,
think.
I pushed the button. No idea. There's going to be one of you in that.
Probably did. I know he had me take one earlier. I'm like, I don't even know if I got myself. Yeah. Cool. I'm trying to sit up.
Liquid jersey on the fairway.
Yeah, we're going to make this. I'm shooting about 15, 20 minutes over. Awesome.
Feel myself.
So, you should take my way over. No problem.
Have a safe trip.
Yeah.
Where you stay.
It's already running, so I think it's good. I hope. Hello, everyone. Good. I don't know. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
He really likes this. Yeah. So does our ECO. I literally walked down. I told her, I was like, everybody's you hear like last night around like 8 or 9, like right outside? Do you remember seeing him where we're like, that is not the little space we ever
Yeah, for sure. We had almost 3,000 people watching.
One of the three carries weight.
Yeah.
After like 2 bites from the first one, I was a little nervous.
Our GM challenged us to do a large two-dish personnel. The three of us. And Hunter was talking big game all day. He was snacking on goldfish all day.
Big game.
He finished his 2 pieces. So I'm getting deep dish. From the
This was
1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2. Zach Short.
We sell those actually. Dugout West sell those too.
Yeah, so yeah, she got Nico,
We just saw it, so we were
I got, and I was still playing so these guys came over. Never
All right, you let me know. I'm ready to go. You guys ready? Let's do it. All right. What's up, Cubs fans, Pelicans fans? So glad to have you joining us here today. Everybody in the room, thanks for coming out. My name is Noah Kluman. I'm the Pelican broadcaster this year. This is Evan Altman from Cubs Insider, and this is Zach Short. He's a Cubs prospect. Spent last year a couple of different levels, but started the season in Iowa. We're going to get to know him a little bit here today. Zach, first of all, thanks so much for joining us. How are you enjoying the Cubs conference?
Thanks for having me. It's pretty exciting seeing all the fans out here and seeing the older guys kind of be in their own element off the field. Pretty exciting.
Well, let's start where it all began. You grew up in New York, not necessarily a warm place, except for the summer, but what was your experience like growing up in New York?
It was kind of pretty diverse, not in the city area, but, I grew up loving basketball, loving golf, and I kind of did everything. But like you said, the weather, you kind of just roll with the punches and go with it. So it's interesting trying to find a way to, in the off seasons, get all your work in, but once Arizona comes around in early February, you're ready to go.
Now, you told me earlier you went back to New York during this offseason. What kind of stuff have you been filling your days with here in the offseason?
Yeah, so it's pretty basic routine every day. Wake up, have a good breakfast, go lift, go hit, and then kind of just, my brother's playing basketball right now. My other brother's home from school, and we, hang out, either go throw somewhere, throw the football around, go shoot, and it's kind of just a pretty nice routine we have.
So what made did you fall into baseball? You talked about some of the other sports that you did, but what really cemented baseball as that sport that you were going to chase after?
That's a good question. You know, ever since I could remember, I just had a baseball and a bat in my hand, and I fell in love with it. My mom's side of the family tried to get me as a Yankees fan, so we always watched the Yankees games. And my dad's side, they wanted me to be a Mets fan growing up, and that's what I was. So I kind of grew up watching both games, but from what I can remember, I just loved. I mean, I'd be outside. I have videos on my phone where you watch a home video, and I'm just out there, you know, like doing impressions when I was like 4 years old, like Sammy Sosa, doing all the stuff, and it was pretty cool.
So one of the questions I had for you was related to this past season, right? You talked about so you're growing up, and a lot of guys never face adversity to a certain level. You know, game comes easy to you, whatever. But you obviously had to deal with that quite a bit this year with the broken finger. Can you talk about just mentally how did that affect you, having to sit out for that long? And then you talk about getting hit by a pitch. Some guys it takes a while to come back from. Can you kind of tell everybody sort of what your process was coming back from that?
For sure. So it was a broken hand. So which is, you know, it was kind of like I was really scared to test it when I came back. And I mean, like you said, I'm actually, you know, looking back at it, it was obviously tough to deal with. But dealing with that adversity, like you said, kind of earlier in my career, it's nice. You know, not nice, but you know, you learn how to roll the punches. You know, you hopefully, you know, knock on wood, I ever get hurt again, I can deal with it a little bit better. You know, like I was expecting to hit the ground running as soon as I came back, and you know, some things don't work out like that. So you know, I kind of expected, you know, hit 400, like hit 30 home runs in one swing. You know, I mean, especially the PCL, all the numbers and everything are so inflated, you know, with all the parks out on the West Coast. So I came back and like, oh, you know, all these guys hit 30 home runs, I got to hit some homers, you know. But I mean, down the road, like I said, God forbid, you know, I think I can deal with it a little bit better and kind of treat it as a blessing in disguise.
So when you look at this past season, you started up in AAA Iowa. You got out to a great start through the first 8 games, but then that injury happened.
Yeah.
What was the thought process going through your head, saying, "Oh, I got off to this great start, but then everything was upset"?
And that's what, you know, I kind of expected us to be the same guy when I came back, and I didn't know. I haven't gotten hurt since 7th grade, so, you know, I mean, I don't really remember what it was like, and I was in the back of my mind like, all right, you know, like, yeah, great start, let's get back into it, and, you know, it just didn't work out like that. I had some great teammates, you know, kind of sit down with me and talk to me, like, how to deal with everything, great coaching staff, and kind of give them the credit, you know, like, my head, you know, it wasn't really where it was, where it needed to be when I first came back, but, you know, going into the fall league and everything like that, I kind of took a step back and thought a lot about what I went through, and like I said, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, you really upped your game in terms of your power. Not this past season so much because of that, but I know year 4, hit a few more home runs, that jumped up. And then I know you had a stretch there. It was like 6 homers in 14 games or something.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that like? Is that just a zone thing? I mean, were you just locked into that? Because it's kind of wild, you know, you look at this stretch and then all of a sudden, like, oh my gosh, you know, usually, is that power something that you're striving for, or is that just a natural explosion of what's gone out of the rest of your career?
So, I kind of, my freshman year of college, I kind of really dove into the swing, like how everything works, how the body works, and, you know, I mean, obviously now everything works on like the velocity, you know, obviously the damage is done in the air, so, I mean, I've kind of hit both ends of the spectrum of it, like in high school, I had 1 home run in 3 years, and then, you know, my sophomore year of college, I kind of hit a few, and now, you know, learning more, I kind of almost have to take a step back from trying to do all that power, you know, like that. I don't want to be that kind of hitter, and I kind of want to spray the ball around, but also hit for power in the air and everything like that. But I mean, like you said, it just kind of happened, you know, and it's a learning curve, as in, you know, how to take a step back, you know, not try to hit all those home runs, you know, like take your, you know, you're down 1-2, you know, obviously you're not trying to hit a ball off the scoreboard, you know, take your single to right, you know, and, you know, find a way to help the team, move a guy over, and that's all part of the learning curve of being a pro. So hopefully, you know, this year, you know, at the end of last offseason, I kind of had a really good idea for it, and then again, obviously, the injury kind of set me back. But I think going into this year, I've become a better hitter, you know, mentally and physically, so we'll see how that goes in spring training.
We're in 2020, and obviously numbers play a huge part in the game of baseball. And by numbers, I don't just mean batting average and on-base percentage and anything like that, but all the sabermetrics that go behind the game of baseball. What kind of things do you take from this kind of new brand of baseball that you apply to your game?
I really like exit velocity. That's like one thing I really look into. You know, obviously hit the ball hard. It's going to hopefully, I mean, from most part, find a way to get through, you know, and give you the best chance to succeed. But I mean, all the, you know, the other stuff, they kind of take it a little bit, I'm not saying too far, but there's so much, like you said, there's so much into it. But, you know, exit velocity, and obviously, I mean, I'm not up there trying to think I have to hit a certain launch angle, a certain exit velocity, but if you put your body and, you know, your bat in the right position to succeed, you know, I mean, as best as you can, kind of those things kind of fall into place. So, I mean, I really like exit velocity. And then on the pitching, you know, in the scouting report, I look at obviously velocity and their spin rate now. And if a guy has a high spin rate, they're obviously, or not obviously, but they're kind of up in the zone like all the Astros guys, you know, like Verlander and Cole. They have upwards of 2,300 in spin rate, 2,400 on their fastball, which means it's going to spin and kind of look like it's rising. You know, you kind of look at that going into the game and you're like, all right, this kind of an idea of what this guy's going to try to do to you. But other than that, I try to keep it a little bit simpler, so I'm not up there thinking about everything. But I kind of like where it's going at some point too, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really is amazing how much the Cubs have access to as far as those kind of numbers. Give everybody maybe an inside look of what you look for before the games. You talked about spin rate and those kinds of things, but what really makes it so important that you know that going into facing the pitcher?
Right, so you kind of have a plan, you know, you kind of do your homework in the morning, you get there to the field, and we have the scouting report of the pitcher, I mean, everything you could imagine. And, you know, percentages and what counts, percentages, you know, what inning, like what kind of batter, righty, lefty, and you have hot zones and all that. So, I mean, without even doing anything, you kind of have an idea of what you're doing with the scouting report as soon as you walk into the field. But then, you know, I like to look at video, like, especially guys, you know, like, either a leadoff guy, bottom of the order guy, what he's trying to do, and then you get up there, you've had the at-bat before, you know, and putting yourself in the best position to succeed. And other than that, you know, I like to watch a little video, and obviously I'm not too big on the scouting reports where it's like, I can, you know, 2-1 count, he's 41%, whatever, you know, I don't really like that. I kind of really like the hot zones and velocity for those.
I know one of the things that has really stood out about you, you got an ability to work, right? You're going to take your walks, get kind of deep in there, but at times that can lead to maybe a few more strikeouts because you are working on skating to two. Do you have any thoughts on changing that approach at all? Are you looking to be more aggressive, kind of jump on some fastballs early? Is that something that or is that just like, hey, I'm gonna do what I do, and those strikeouts come with it? It's just a natural function of your approach.
So obviously I want to keep the walks, but it's also like a testament, you know, of like trying to hit for power. Like you foul off a pitch you're supposed to hit, and you're like, I'm in a 1-2 count already, and I had 2 good pitches to hit, you know. And I think with the work I put in the last offseason, you know, with your swing, you're not going to miss as many of those pitches, and you know, I might not get too deep with counts, but if I can keep the walks and obviously lower the strikeouts, I mean that helps everybody. Right? It helps the guy in front of me, helps the guy behind me, and then obviously helps the team. So, you know, the goal is to keep the walks and obviously cut down the strikeouts and put the ball in play a little bit more.
So one of the other things that happened this offseason for you was really cool. You got the news that you were added to the 40-man roster, and for those that maybe don't know, that means you're just one step closer to making the major league. So when you found out that you made the 40-man, what did that do for you?
It was kind of surreal. I was actually on the way back from New York City with my dad, and the deadline was 8 o'clock. So, you know, he was actually getting surgery, so I was kind of off in New York City by myself, just roaming. I was like, all right, it's pretty cool, you know, I can tell my dad the surgery if I can put it on or whatever. So I kind of had my headphones in, just, you know, going to get coffee, going to get food, and just kept envisioning my phone ringing, and it just never happened, like, it wasn't happening. So I was on Twitter, you know, here and there, just seeing, like, because other teams come out with their stuff, hey, we added so-and-so to the 40-man, whatever. So, I mean, 1 o'clock rolled around, nothing, you know, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, still nothing. So I go back to the hospital where my dad is, and he's like, hey, like, anything? And I was like, no, like, don't worry about it. Kind of took, like, a back seat, you know, I was like, make sure everything was okay with him. And, you know, 6 o'clock rolled around, still nothing. What's going on? Nobody's heard anything. 7 o'clock, so we're on our way home, and 7:30, 7:45, 7:50, so like 8 o'clock hits, I'm like, all right, you know, it is what it is. You know, I kind of checked Twitter again, talked to a few guys, and no, we haven't heard anything. 8:05 or 8:04 they called, and it was pretty cool. They were obviously informed me that I got put on the 40-man, and it's pretty cool moment for me and my family.
How did that compare with draft day?
Draft day was a little bit more stressful because I had a pretty poor season my junior year going in, and the Cubs were one of the first teams that I've talked to, you know, as I was getting scouted. And you know, I got called on day 2. They said, hey, you know, we might take you in the 10th round. I was like, all right, awesome, just want to get off the board, you know. And then they said, all right, like, we went with somebody else. And he said, you know, like stay put for day 3. So I actually went to my brother's travel game. We were in, I think, New Jersey or something like that, and I mean, it was at the point where it was like 12th round, and they were just firing rounds. And me and my agent haven't heard anything. I was like, oh, you know, when's the time to look into the senior year of school? And then I think we got called in the 16th or 15th round. They told us we were going to take us with the next pick in the 17th round, and it was pretty cool. But you know, like this, like you said, it's 40 man's kind of one spot away, and that was, I think, kind of more like exciting in a sense. But I mean, they're both pretty unbelievable moments.
Was there a point, you know, some guys come in, they've got ultimate confidence right from the start. They know from the moment they step on the field or from the moment they get that call, I'm going to make it, right? But, you know, a lot of guys, and, you know, you played with some of them, I'm sure you played with some others, and have a much longer journey. You move pretty steadily through the system, and now you're on the 40 man. Was there a point at which you just said, like, you just got it, like, okay,
Right.
you know, this is, I'm going to be able to make a living at this?
Yeah, actually, you know, like I haven't really had like to me a breakout year yet, you know, and I'm really kind of waiting for that to happen anytime soon would be nice. But you know, this year in spring training, great experience working everything. I kind of was like, you know, like I got a really good start, and then obviously AAA got to a good start, and I was like, wow, you know, like let's go, this is the year, you know, like let's just keep going. And then obviously the injury set me back, but it's kind of almost had the opposite this year in Iowa when I came back, and I was really struggling with searching. I was like, I don't know if I, you know, like my hand was like so far behind my brain. I would be like, all right, like, let's go get a ground ball, you know, and like I'd be like, all right, let's lift up, and my hand would like be delayed, and I was like, my hand is like this. I have no idea what I'm able to do that. But you know, I think now again, learning how to deal with everything, it's kind of like, all right, you know, like let's go, let's, you know, we can do this, and I have a really good support system with my family. We're kind of obviously on the same team, and great support system at home, my friends. So kind of in that mode now where I'm like, let's go, we can do this.
So you're on the 40 man, you're one step away. What do you envision yourself doing, thinking when you get that call?
I don't know. I mean, obviously we got to get there first, but you know, it's going to be hopefully a pretty surreal moment for me and my family. I mean, I just got to control things I can control. I don't want to think about it too much, obviously, during the season, and then everything starts to snowball and go the wrong way. But I'm just going to play hard, play the game I've always played, and then hopefully good things happen.
Awesome. So we talked a lot about baseball. Now I've got a couple of other questions for you. This is a super important one. You're from New York, so obviously New York is known for the pizza.
Yes.
So Chicago. Are you a New York style or Chicago style pizza fan?
New York pizza, and it's not even close. I'm sorry. Sorry, but I mean, when I came here, I had to get checked out for my hand in April, and I had a deep dish, and I was just like, I'm gonna go home and have my own pizza.
So where's the best pizza spot in New York?
It's, I mean, anywhere, you know, if you turn a corner and it's $1 slice, it's, I mean, it sounds bad, but it is like, my friends and I always joke around, we're like, we gotta go find a hole-in-the-wall spot for $1, you know. And where I went to school in Connecticut, New Haven is pretty famous for their pizza too, and I still think New York pizza is better than mine too. I know.
Well, there you go. He's a New York style pizza fan. So before we let you go, you spent a year in Myrtle Beach as well, and we're here with, as a part of Visit Myrtle Beach as well. So just want to know kind of what your experience was like on the Grand Strand and some of the memories you have from being a Pelican.
The memories were awesome, you know. Anywhere I've ever played, Friday nights are the big nights, obviously, like you're a big crowd. And in Myrtle, it was like every night, you know, even Monday nights, it was sold out. And you're like, you're out there, obviously the locker room's down in right field, and you're just like, what are, like, people are here at the game and not at the beach. It's awesome. And we played a lot of golf that year, and I mean, that was definitely probably my top place that I've played so far.
That's awesome. Outside of ticketreturn.com, go to Pelicans Ballpark, where the Pelicans play, which is obviously the best thing to do in Myrtle Beach.
Absolutely.
What else do you like to do?
Golf. Golf is awesome. Yeah, there's obviously a bunch of good courses there. Off day, we got to spend a lot of time on the beach, hang out with some friends, throw the football around, and it's kind of almost like a vacation spot for yourself too. You know, you're, like I said, you're going to the field every day. It's sold out, and it's pretty surreal seeing everybody be so faithful to the Pelicans.
Awesome, Zach. Well, thanks so much. Big thanks to Visit Myrtle Beach for partnering with us up here at CubsCon this season. That's going to do it from Evan and I, but we'd like to open it up for 3 questions. If anybody has a question for Zach, go for it. Now's your chance. What's up? What was your favorite player growing up?
So like I said, I was a Mets fan growing up, but I love Derek Jeter. The way he played the game was awesome. You know, you're out in the yard doing jump throws like him. It's pretty cool.
Anybody else got a question?
If you do make it to the 40-man and make it up, what do you think your best attributes to support the team?
So the question is, what does Zach think are his best attributes to support the team if and when he makes it up to Chicago?
I like to think of myself as a team player. You know, like I love watching everybody else do well, and you know, like what we were talking about before. You know, getting on base is the thing that's obviously good for yourself, and then puts everybody else on your team in a good position. You know, either drive you in or whatever have you do. You know, and just gotta try to be the person that I am. So.
We got time for one more question. Go ahead.
If you weren't a professional baseball player, what would you be?
If Zach wasn't a professional baseball player, what would you be?
That's a good question. I went to school for sport management, so I was trying to be a athletic director. So hopefully baseball doesn't allow me to, you know, kind of have a early jump on that. But you know, whenever I'm done playing, I think I'd like to try to do something like that.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here with our first interview at CubsCon. That's Zach Short. Thanks so much for joining us, Zach. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, Evan and I will be back. We have Tyson Miller coming up in just a little bit, so we hope that you guys will stay tuned. We're having a lot of fun here at CubsCon. Once again, thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. It was fun. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
That's awesome. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I love to hear touch me. Awesome. He has mind of his own.
I have a pen here.